You're listening to Haze Radio Network, Cannabis Lifestyle Radio.
Hey, this is Alec with Behind the Leaf. We're kicking off our first ever episode here at the Haze Radio station. I got some amazing guests with me right now. I got my co-host Cassie here.
Hey, what's up?
And I got Andrew.
Yo,
and his boy Tyrese.
How's it going?
What up? What up? Man, it's good to have you over here doing a show on the network. It's what do you think, Ty, bro?
Yeah,
super
stoked.
I remember when we met Alec, right? Such an interesting dude.
Yes.
Pioneer.
Absolutely.
Like, just had this crazy...
Amazing energy,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He was a person you just knew you wanted to hang out with.
And it was in Vegas, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we were all in Vegas. I got invited to a party through another company I'm involved in.
Yeah, and then we give a shout out. Let's give a shout out to that
let's
company.
Give a shout out to Cannabis Now. The shirt I'm wearing, and they're amazing. Eugenio's an amazing guy, and lo and behold, to me, when I got invited to the party, I had no idea Andrew or Tyrese was even going to be there.
Yeah, we never met each other.
We never met each other before. No previous connections or anything.
And we went to the High Hopes.
And yeah, we're at the High Hopes
thing last year. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, during MJ BizCon.
Right?
And we were out there covering, everybody from the station was down there checking shit out. And, from the point of going to conventions, that's like the mega blockbuster fucking giant biggest one of them all.
Oh, yeah. MJ is the biggest.
I mean, you're talking about
cannabis conference for the year.
35, 40,000 people.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. It was
right?
insane.
Something like that rolled down to it.
Yeah. And that was my first ever MJ BizCon.
So let's talk about that. First MJ BizCon. One, we'll get into what you thought even that was like, but forget about that. 35, 40,000 people, right?
Yeah.
We go to a High Hopes private. Let's just also put it to this thing, private party. You had to know about going to it specifically because they essentially, wasn't all that shit for free? Like everything in there seemed like
everything was
comp,
yeah,
right?
The drinks, everything
Drinks,
was
there's everything, a whole fucking bar of this in downtown Las Vegas. Super dope. I roll in. It was you and who was Alex? Was it other Alex was with us? Or no, I don't remember. Alex was. Yeah, Alex was right.
Yep.
And we were at this thing packed with people. Me and B smoking this, just absorbing all that shit. And then I wander off, right? And I was like talking to the guys that actually put the whole from High Hopes.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't like hit him up in a while and ran into him. So I was like, "Yo, what's up, Chang?" Shout out to Chang and all these wild animals. And, then you were just sitting next to Beast. Like, let's get into how this even happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
His T-shirt, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was just sitting there hanging out. I just got done talking to some guys there, and I saw Beast here, freaking Tyrese walking down with the what was it, Heady.
With the head stash shirt.
Yeah, the head stash.
It was just a black shirt with big box white letters, and it just said "Friends don't let friends smoke Reggie."
Yeah. And
That's what it was.
I looked down, pointed out, and I went, I love your shirt. And we just started talking from there. And then,
that is the only
Andrew
thing
came
I remember.
over.
Yeah.
And then Andrew came over. We went to I think we kind of went in like the back and started smoking a little bit.
Okay, yeah. So, now I'm starting to remember this part. Yeah, so somehow, I'm not going to say we coerced, but like somebody arranged for us to go pay off the guy.
Yeah.
So we could go behind, like, in this little part.
Yeah.
And fucking blaze up when nobody else was allowed to during the party.
Yeah.
And we were, that's when we got to like hang out with Alec a lot and, everybody else that was kind of like cruising out, saying what's up. And then we get a call from our boy from Texas, who is just like, they're rocking it, penthouse at Green Valley Ranch, like the largest fucking whatever there. And we just in there, and my boy is just, we like take Alec with us. I don't know, all of a sudden it was like, yo, you got anything to do? Just come along with us. He just met us like an hour ago.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to do like a beat, like, it'd be like some crazy thing where he's like, I have it.
It's kind of like what they tell you not to do.
Yeah, everything they would advise you or your kids not to do, Alec was like, no, I don't give a shit. Let's go.
Let's try it.
Yeah, let's just jump in the thing and go wherever with these guys. Right. But it was dope. he had an adventure that was like very fun adventure, leading on to other ventures. And then, we got to hang out throughout the year because now we are coming out on a year of when MJ BizCon is coming back around, which was dope.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of fun. Definitely great way to socialize, if you're an activist or a professional or business person, whatever it may be. And at that time, you were essentially telling me that you got into investing into cannabis, which was, very cool. But before you did that, what were you investing or doing?
I was a little bit of everything, really. I was first I got involved with the real estate and all that. I was went for my New York State real estate license when I went there, and then we shortly after I got that, we moved down to Florida. And I had a really good family friend, and she started flipping houses and has Airbnb, had an Airbnb too.
Yeah, that was an experience.
And she got me. I was like, listen, I want to learn how to do this. Like, I'm not exactly sure. Teach me. So I did that for like a year.
And what was the feelings? Did you like it?
I liked it. Like, it was
a lot of learning on the go.
It was a lot of learning on the go. It was
a lot of that.
Like, we did a lot of the hands-on construction work ourselves.
Okay, I see.
And
pass that bad boy down this way a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you decided to and then after that, you're what made you sell cannabis? There had to be some kind of light bulb or something. Like, what made you?
Well, the whole during for a while, I've been a long cannabis enthusiast and whatever.
Okay.
And through my event, then I started getting more into like the background of investing, like being like more in the shadows, as like you kind of say. And I got involved in a
behind the scenes, from behind the leaf.
Yeah, definitely.
That was good.
Definitely. And we got involved in an industrial real estate equity fund, and we build e-commerce warehouses for Amazon and all that stuff.
Okay,
so
places where if you sent shit, I've heard about this where you can do a thing with Amazon, and Amazon gets a cut, and you can put your own products in their warehouse.
Yeah,
and they already have it to ship it out and do all that shit for you. Yeah, which I think that's kind of dope.
Absolutely.
I think the concept of that is really fucking cool, because how many people want to sell something online, whether it was eBay, this or that, and have to deal with packaging, all that fucking shit, mailing it out, scaling online, doing all that fucking crap, right? They do it for you for what, like 30%, I believe, cut and stuff, or whatever it is, based on whatever it is you sell or do.
Yeah, because they realized that everybody was just doing this out of like their basements of their house and their garages, having to go to stores and mail stuff. And so it was just a matter of time before they just figured out a way for the public for them to utilize the public in that way. But
absolutely,
it was a great thing. And then I got through the same people through that. I got involved in this interesting deal that we got. We cumulatively bought 56 Sonics in the state of Louisiana.
What?
Yeah.
So I guess you're in
the real estate, the franchise license. Everything.
I have to give props to Sonic, because Sonic, without Sonic, there wouldn't be the how do I say this? Emergence and popularity of the tater tot again.
Yeah.
Because when I was young, the tater tot was huge. Then there had to be like at least 20-year span where the tater tots has lost its popularity. But then Sonic, boom, comes up. Tater tots become huge again.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. And
who doesn't love the cherry lime lemonade or whatever the fuck they have?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
so invested in Sonics, which I mean, that's a great thing. Why not? That sounds dope.
It was like, why not? And like deal came across. It sounded great and it was appealing, and it was really a no-brainer at the time.
Sure. And then
I'm just basically sitting around waiting. We did another thing in real estate with student housing.
Okay.
So,
interesting.
So if anybody's out there listening from Winthrop University in Rock Hill, South Carolina, and they're living in the perch or the nest this semester, just know that This is one of the guys I was involved that built that. So,
wow, how dope
sick.
is that?
Oh yeah, I would want to live there.
You would want to live. Like, you guys would want to live there.
And you get super dope cheap rates because it's a student, right?
Yeah, I mean like you're a student
right?
compared to the building that was there.
And is it considered an on-campus thing or near campus?
It's like just offside of campus.
Offside of campus.
What really like what happened was we. Like
but it's
a lot
officially
of people,
part of
it's officially part of the school.
Thing, right?
We're contracted with the school and
so
stuff like that.
So if they need to slap somebody up in an area or whatever, they can.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, definitely.
And they pay you out of their students' tuition, right? The student is paying you, or like, or how does that work?
The parents pay us.
The parents pay you, but
Gotcha.
the school technically could also, right? If they needed spots.
Yeah, like we're contracted with the school for them to fill the rooms of it. So like they advertise this. The building through the school, like this is our student housing.
Okay.
Like this is our new student housing kind of and stuff
cool.
like that. But with the cool thing, like I would want to live here. Like these rooms are honestly phenomenal.
Really? Wow.
You have to see the floor plans.
Like I don't did you guys did you dorm when you went to college?
Oh fuck yeah, of course. Absolutely.
Okay, so like try to remember what that experience was like.
Oh yeah, okay.
And what that kind of room was like when I went to college. I was in my own room, and it was I'm pretty sure it was just a broom closet that they converted.
It was 100%.
It had this really weird.
Tiny window.
It had this really weird, creepy window in the door. Like it was like
exactly
like it was like the size. It was like a little bigger than that box, and you could see through it. I put like a piece of paper over it. So
speaking of our box,
oh yeah,
Ty is now which bottle is that? Do you know?
No clue.
Okay, so from MJ Arsenal, thank you for supplying some great pieces to behind the scenes, and we have various pieces that were donated and some cool accessories, ones that you could actually put your joint in and smoke through this little thing.
Oh yeah, this one's freaking.
We got
cool.
the turbine. What other ones? What's the name on yours? Beast over by your side, Ty. What's that one?
Titan.
The Titan, the turbine. And they have like really great variety of different smaller pieces that are easy for on the go. He just hit a thing like fucking.
Yeah. Oh my
it's
god.
Kind of dope, right?
Yeah, I was sharing that. I was hitting that before, and it was very nice. It's one of the nicer rigs that I've hit.
Yeah,
especially for little ones that you could just jam around
really,
with, dump it out, take it in your bag, put it in
for like travel size and stuff like that.
Great flavor because it's not as big of a hit, so you get better.
You don't
flavor.
have to take as much or put in as much, so you can get way more hits for less use of oil.
Absolutely,
which is great. And you guys get a chance, check out at MJ Arsenal on Instagram. So, also you have a bunch of other people. Let's give shout outs to Cannabis Now sponsor, right?
Oh yeah, Cannabis Now.
What are some of the other guys?
Another Peter from Fly Soul Shoes.
Fly Soul Shoes, which you're going to have as an episode, right?
Yeah, we're going to have him on an episode soon, so that's going to be fantastic.
He's great. He's hilarious.
He's a great dude. He's definitely got an interesting personality, and he's a awesome guy. I can't wait to have him on here.
And so you get through the real estate, do good on the Sonic, do good on these things. When does it say, oh, I want to invest in cannabis?
I've always wanted.
But there had to have been a moment when all of a sudden was why you started putting money in, because you never did it up to a certain point, right?
Like as I've said before, like I've always been a cannabis enthusiast. I've smoked, I've consumed, and I've always been wanting to get into cannabis and been more of a like an official way,
sure,
and stuff like that. It was. Because it was always like a hush thing,
sure.
And I didn't like that. I did projects in school about it, and why did it was.
But because of a stigma,
yeah,
there's a stigma.
There was a big stigma against it, and
Definitely.
I felt like it was like an injustice that wasn't right. Like,
and it's because of lack of education.
Yeah, and that's one of the biggest things. That's why I love what you guys are doing here at Haze Radio. I love what Eugenio does at Cannabis Now.
Sure.
And all that, because education is one of the biggest parts of the cannabis industry that is lacking, but we need to be focused on, because
100%.
Absolutely.
The more everybody knows what's the truth and what's not, people can make educated decisions on how to live their lives, how to medicate.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So you decide, I'm going to invest. What was your very first investment in the cannabis industry?
So my very first investment in the cannabis industry was a private equity fund called Merida Capital.
Okay. And where are they located? And what was the appeal at first?
They're located all throughout the United States. They're
okay.
So what their appeal was at the time that they were the leading in their field. They were the top in the country. No one could do better what they did. And what also was the biggest appeal was that I've always wanted to get in the cannabis industry, but at the time things were very, very expensive to get into. Because cannabis was kind of new. Yeah. And all that, and deals that were flying across the table were like millions and millions of dollars.
Sure.
Yeah. So, and it was just not doable and all that. And then Merida Capital came along, and they've finally had a deal, for lack of better terms, that it was doable. And
it was reasonable to what you were able to.
To what I was looking. It was exactly what I was looking for, really. And it went into a fund, right? It went into
so like a fund that funds other projects, right?
What they do is that they look for companies that are doing the best in their field in cannabis.
Sure.
So
anything I got it.
So anything from media companies to dispensaries to licensing to
sure.
To basically anything.
So you decide, okay, I'm going to do it. You do the fucking deal. You throw a little bit in. Now you're part equity in all these various companies. Let's give a shout out to some of those companies, and let's talk about, since you started, have you seen a good success rate with the companies they invested in?
Oh, yeah. They're an awesome success rate. And all
Could we give a shout out to some of those companies that are part of funding?
Yeah. Well, Cannabis Now, for one.
Okay. Yeah, I guess. And for those who don't know what Cannabis Now is, explain it.
Oh, yeah. Cannabis Now is a hard copy magazine company. They produce media strictly on the cannabis industry, and they're basically one of the leadings in their fields. They're an awesome company and
strong social media following.
Eugenio's taking the company in amazing places, getting them in Barnes and Noble and Books A Million.
Yeah, legitimate
actual
syndication.
Yeah,
of the content. Not just like smoke shops and this. I remember when he had told me early in the day, back in the day when he started the magazine, he was in all the airport. The airport magazine thing. Like that's a huge. That's kind of because who really like goes into a bookstore anymore? But those ones in between flights. Yeah. And you're stuck in a fucking flight is one of the few times you'll go buy magazines or this and just sit and flip through it, right? Yeah. So the point is he also penetrated like really good mainstream space where you could still, make money off of selling print, right? Because that in itself is a very difficult and almost aging beast in itself, right? Because everybody's used to the phone and this. Who the fuck carries paper anymore, right? Like,
think about that. Like, who carries paper anymore? That's why I always fly with one of his magazines. That's what I read on the plane and everything. A lot of people always ask me like, oh, like what is that and all that. So
that's cool.
I have to explain that.
A lot of curious people in this world. Right?
Definitely.
As time goes on, people are getting a lot more curious about cannabis.
What else was part of the funding of that group? What other things have you been dabbled into? Brand wise.
Trying to think.
Not as much.
Not like too much, like specifically brand wise.
Okay.
But Her Highness.
Her Highness. Yeah, they're a great company.
We just went to a anniversary party for Merida, actually, and the girls from Her Highness were there. And
okay, and what is that, and where are they from?
I think they're
based in New York City.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, Cassie
knows they're women-owned.
Oh, dope.
Yeah, they have a lot of great products, so they definitely more appeal toward women, but I like what they're doing for the industry.
And how do you feel, Cassie, like going around experiencing all these things in the cannabis industry? Is it exciting for you?
Definitely. I mean, everything's very new to me, so it's all just like a learning experience. Like you said, education is really important because I was one of those people who really didn't know too much about it.
And did you have a negative stigma ever to it?
Yeah, I did.
You did? Wow.
I think it was the environment that I grew up in.
Okay.
And just some people around me who felt a certain way, and I don't think they were really educated on it.
Okay.
So maybe,
sure.
Just views passed on from person to person.
The old school reefer madness.
Right. Pretty much.
And it trickled onto you to make you feel like, oh, if I do this, like, people are going to think I'm a bad person.
Right, yeah. Honestly, yeah, that's how it was.
And when was the first
Seriously.
time you actually smoked, though? Because now I'm curious, like, do you remember the first time and what it was like?
2 years ago?
It was like
3?
2 or 3 years ago.
I think so.
And you guys were together when it was the first time?
Yeah. We were
Oh,
in
okay.
New York. We actually, it was at my
New York
house.
with your sister.
With my sister and my mom. It
Wow.
was like all of us.
Wow.
Family gathering.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Everybody's token.
That
I
is,
love it.
yeah, the family that toasts together stays together. But yeah, that's kind of, I can't top that. That's like fucking dope for a first time. My thing
Yeah.
was like outside in like of a dorm thing or whatever. And I was just like, yeah.
It was comfortable though. Like it was a great experience, and I really didn't know how much it could do for me, for my anxiety also, like the
Okay.
mental health space.
Sure.
So I think that's something that people need to, learn more about, because it could help with a variety of different things that people don't even know about. So
Yeah, and I mean, look at your situation. Your parents are older. There's different generations all sitting around. When something like that, which was so reefer madness, like, did it
Right.
blow your mind when it happened, almost in a sense? Because like, not only doing it for the first time, but doing it with your mom and this and all these people that are family. That's fucking kind of cool.
she's like very open to
Sure.
it. But I guess everyone has their own view. It's just, being more open-minded towards
Sure.
the
Yeah.
idea.
Sure.
Hmm.
Wow. And what has been some of your favorite highlights cruising around with Alec, checking out different things in the cannabis industry? I know you went to the Merida Capital
Yes, the
event,
event.
which, sounds like it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else specifically that rings out to you?
When we went to Montana last month or August.
Yeah.
Yeah. We saw Eugenio from Cannabis Now. He brought us to a grow, and that was really cool to see.
In Montana.
In
Yes,
Montana.
in
Wow,
Bozeman.
interesting. Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. And how big was the facility?
It was pretty.
It was pretty big. He had the interesting was very the setup was very interesting. It wasn't like you walk into the room and like the whole room is lined with plants and all that. It was he had individual tents, and it was very interesting. He had like
Okay.
very
20 or
modern
so
setup.
tents. He had like 20 or so tents, maybe in like 2 or 3 different rooms, and tents were decently sized. Like it would take up most of this room.
Interesting. And they all were,
All
Was
different
it all-
different kinds of strains.
but was it
and-
full cycle in each tent, or was like a veg room tent, and then when they got big, they went into like a budding tent, or did each tent have the
From
full
what
cycle?
I remember, they like the plant. I think the plants stayed inside the tents that they were grown in.
Okay.
And because they can control the individual
Tent.
like the individual tent
sure.
and all that stuff, and create individual like climates.
And how many plants would you say fit in a tent? If you had to guesstimate.
I think there was probably like 20 to 30 plants in each.
Okay.
tent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
So
a lot-
not like
it was
not like a
definitely, yeah.
not like a table situation, or was it
No.
actually like bucket, like actual?
It was buckets on the.
Buckets.
Yeah, I'm
Buckets.
pretty sure,
That's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah,
Did you notice it was soil or hydro?
I think it was soil. It was
Soil.
soil. And
Okay.
I actually like there's always a lot of arguments between soil and hydro and all that, especially with growing and what people
And
like.
what's your feeling or philosophy on that?
I personally like outdoor grown in soil in Mother Nature and stuff like that.
Okay.
I feel like it gives the best terpene profiles and cannabinoids
Sure.
and all that for the body, and because it's natural, it's not synthetic. But
And explain
indoor
terpenes to the layman out there.
terpenes, they're like what gives bud, what gives bud and weed like it's like unique characteristics really for different strains, and
Sure.
I want to say like in like layman's terms and all that. It's what gives you the feelings, and like makes a sativa really, and what makes an indica,
Sure.
and all like all that. Like it's what makes each kind of weed unique.
Of course.
That's how I like put in like layman's terms.
And then how's your family feel about essentially the weed industry and stuff? How were they accepting to this
So,
type of investment, or were they like, oh no, like?
At first, me and my dad always conflicted about cannabis,
Okay.
and it was kind of like he came from a military background. And all
Yeah,
that,
so
and-
that's a
and the
huge,
Corps,
massive like.
So
yeah.
like it was kind of like a
But also,
like,
let's
like
be
don't
honest.
ask, like
Don't ask, don't tell, yeah, sure.
kind of deal.
Mm.
But now we're we were kind of past that, and it's open, and like I really like it's.
And I think there's this later education about veterans who heavily can benefit.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Right.
Smoking and using marijuana towards PTSD and things like that, than having to be on pharmaceutical medications that have a lot of adverse effects to vets, right? And we're also hearing a lot about mushrooms helping the psychology of veterans and things like that.
Yeah, psychedelics, psilocybin, ayahuasca. I'm trying to think about like other natural ones out there, but they're all very. They're doing amazing things with them now. It's coming in to be what they're starting to say is like the new cannabis, the new frontier.
Yeah, it's really like a lot of states are adapting. Not like full-on mushrooms illegal but like small quantities of a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that you could experiment with, without worrying about being thrown in jail or this or being in a like stupid situation, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel? Because you're an East Coast person, you know what I mean? You coming out to the West Coast all the time. Tell me what it was like when New York passed and became recreational, or essentially like now, like all these laws about it. At first, it was it medical, and then now
it was
it's
first medical,
right?
and it was highly restricted, and then they finally became recreationally used, and now it's like the Wild West of cannabis now. They do. Everybody's trying to work their way around the laws because they're so loose.
Not in place yet.
Yeah, they're really not in place yet. And then there's really nobody to really uphold them right now either, because there's so many other things going on in New York.
But at the same time,
like
they've recognized it as not being this illicitly hard drug.
Yeah, I mean, like, how can you not?
Cocaine and everything else. Like, but it was.
At this point, it's just going to be like, who's going to be the last state to legalize it?
And they actually, if I'm correct, they allow you up to 5 pounds.
I think so. I think it's like 5 pounds in your house. You can have like 3 ounces on your person of flour and 24 grams of concentrate.
24 grams of concentrate. Yeah. Holy shit.
And you can have
I want you to think about that.
On your person, in your car, transporting that and all that. And they also have, which a lot of people I feel like are gonna get in trouble for, is that they set up operations that they're using the gifting law to get around.
Right now, sure, nonprofit gifting. So, yeah, absolutely.
And if done right, it's okay. But if not, you can get in serious trouble for that. They just busted a lot of trucks in New York City.
I heard about that.
You heard about that?
I heard, like, that's some ballsy shit. Like, even California, Colorado, all this place don't have mobile fucking trucks rolling around. Get your weed. Come on, check it out.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
It was crazy.
I'm not talking about delivery service. We just mobile around and fucking stop wherever.
Yeah. It's like a taco truck.
It's a taco truck with weed. It's kind of sketchy though, right?
Yeah, like it was fun.
I wouldn't want to be the truck that
I would not want to be the guy driving that.
With marijuana, right? Like, let's be realistic.
Like I was in a...
I'll drive a regular food truck. Who the fuck is going to want to take the hot dogs out the back? Go ahead. Yeah, whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, facts.
How much you'd have to stock in a thing like that if you were mobiling around?
I know.
Think about how many a lot of inventory you'd have to have in a place.
Oh, insane. Like I was in Jersey recently, and Jersey's medical and recreational legally too. And I was at like this resort that was kind of like almost in the middle of nowhere. So we called a guy who had a delivery service to come like deliver weed to us, and this dude showed up in like a beat up minivan.
That's us.
And he had it was like and then like everything was in like separate bags and stuff, but it was like, all right, like look through this Tupperware, giant Tupperware container, then let me know what you want so I can check the list and see how much it costs. Like it was.
Let's be realistic.
Okay.
You remember? Now I have to say that.
I'm like, bro, you're by yourself. He was kind of a skinny, frail dude, and I was like,
shout out to the bike guys who, prior to New York being legal at all, were the supplement to most people in Manhattan. The guy that you would like call or text, and he'd like come on the bike, And you have his briefcase that he'd pop open of all the fucking treats. And that's what you got.
Yeah, definitely.
At least it's gone a long way
Yeah,
from
it's gone a long
bicycle
way
homie with the briefcase.
Yeah, definitely. Sure. Or like walking in on the street and asking like randomly shouting for like a dime bag or something like that and hope someone comes up to you.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's hilarious. And so you invested in these various things. You also invested in Fly Soul shoes, right?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what that is.
Fly Soul, they're a great company. I love what they're doing with their shoes and like morally what they're doing with their company.
And for those that don't know, explain what the shoes are and what they're made of.
The shoes are made out of hemp, and they're completely they're basically completely biodegradable.
Wow.
You wear them. You wear them for as long as you want.
Bury them in the backyard and they'll fucking turn into soil. Whatever.
You can bury them in your backyard and they'll disintegrate inside like a year.
Seeds in it and they'll put flowers. That's the next thing. Like
that'd be cool.
Right? Because you've heard of that, right? The paper things and cups now that you have.
I've seen that. Mm-hmm.
I had I think the company was called Bloom or something like that. I found a company, I think it was during MJ BizCon, that they made a filter tip that was made out of beeswax.
Okay.
And it had wildflower seeds in them. So when you were done smoking your joint, you could toss it out the window or toss it in your garden or whatever. And
that's great.
After a while, it would bury itself into the ground, and the seeds, hopefully the seeds would grow and stuff like that.
Interesting.
But,
That's dope.
and also, since
now the question is from the resin, do you get super powered seeds?
Right? Flowers are really big.
Some weird
really
shit.
good flowers.
Now they cornered the market on freakish fruits and things that we take the resin from. Nah, it's just too disgusting of a thought, actually. But you started investing in things like that and being more behind the scenes, right?
Yeah. I really took pretty much a more behind the scenes approach, and then I went to my first Merida Capital anniversary party.
Yeah,
and everybody there was like, "Oh, you're gonna be in Vegas in October." I was like, "What are you talking about?"
For what?
And because I wasn't really into the conference scene and doing things like that. I was I really wasn't into that, and they kept talking about it. I was like, they were like, oh, I asked them, I was like, what are you guys going there for? Like, oh, MJ BizCon, stuff like that. It's the biggest thing. Like you gotta go. So they were talking about that, and it was I think it was taking place 2 weeks later. So it was a split decision to go.
And so much has happened in this year, right? It's kind of crazy.
And then I went, and then it was an awesome conference.
Yeah.
I met you guys.
Yeah.
And then the rest is kind of history after that.
And then you hit us up and you're like, yo, I'm ready. I want to do a TV show essentially, or produce a TV show and stuff. And then we talked about that's a wild endeavor.
Hey, one day,
which is good. And then there's this yearn of the popularity of podcasting, because a lot of people use TikTok and Instagram and use that as a mode of entertainment, but you're just scrolling with your thumb, flipping through, and spending a short time span on each of these things. Could be minutes, could be seconds, whatever it is, right? But most millennials listen to 7 to, they say, upwards of 9 podcasts per week.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And the consumption is they're sitting and listening to most of it, or not all of it, while they're jogging, while they're in the car, while they're multitasking, listening to Joe Rogan or whatever it is, right? And gaining social insight, and it's a very consumable form of entertainment. And, you expressed that you felt like that arena was something you wanted to step into. And I think the reason why you created this, show, Behind the Leaf. And I think it's dope. Any visions or feelings you have about the cannabis industry, or anything you want to kind of throw in as your insight, or anything you want to let the people watching, what they could look forward to, and more episodes to come.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're gonna. I mean, definitely in future episodes, I want this to be as I said before. I think like an educational point of view is very important. So we're gonna be sitting down with like hopefully a lot of top place CEOs in high in companies and people from home, like from even the lowest of just starting out grow operations and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And figuring out what it takes to be in the cannabis industry, what their lifestyles are like,
and going behind that, and
going trying to go behind the scenes and like what they what they do and everything, and giving the people out there a little bit of a better look into what it's like living in this crazy world of the cannabis industry.
And it's really relieving that officially COVID is over.
Yeah,
right?
I know, right?
People finally.
It's great. Like I couldn't like you guys were probably, I can't even imagine how probably you guys were affected by COVID.
Yeah, California was pretty nuts. Nevada, like all those states like surrounding this area were really nuts. Really nuts.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Shout out to everybody who made it through.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Not many made it through unscathed. A lot of people have had lots of very interesting stories to contribute, you know, when it comes to that. Anything you're looking forward to see in the future develop more from an investment point of view, or from, you know, everything you guys are learning about?
I mean, like, I'm just excited in general to see where cannabis is gonna go, but I'm really to see like they're doing a lot of work with like really singling out like not the feeling of just being high.
Okay.
And more into the feeling of like what exactly do I want to feel out of this out of this plant.
Sure.
Because there is a large part of the community that just smokes and they like, I just want to get high, like the way it feels and blah blah blah. But I feel like there's a larger portion of the community that smokes and wants to consume and wants more of a specific feeling out of it.
Sure. And you even mentioned, I believe, to us about a product you thought was kind of dope that addressed moods, right?
Oh yeah.
Why don't you tell a little bit about that?
Oh yeah, it's this edible company. I think it's called
1906.
1906.
Right.
And they make pills that focus more towards a feeling rather than just being high. So like if you kind of like have like ADHD, like I do and stuff like that, they have a genius pill that.
Wow, a genius pill. That's a cool name.
Yeah, yeah. They call it their genius pill, and they say it's not like Adderall, but it kind of like helps you focus and all that. And they put a specific amount of like THC and CBD in it, and they know what like strains to use and all that. So
that's dope.
And they make other ones like you have like you have anxiety and stuff like that.
Wow.
They have a calm one.
Yeah,
okay.
chill,
Stuff like
chill
that.
Ones, chill pills.
Chill pills.
I need the chill pill. You gotta take a chill pill.
Yeah,
Stop.
Take a chill pill, basically. And they also make and for all you couples out there, they also make a love pill.
Ooh.
That's an aphrodisiac.
Oh yeah.
We've had very interesting guests. We've had one guest that came in that was all about adult enhancement.
Yeah.
And you took it and you get a boner. He called it the boner pill. He had one that was called the boner pill. We thought that was fun.
That's
kind of
funny.
interesting. And so, yeah, I understand the perspective that you're talking about is giving that more knowledge into products that are addressing something more than just the high.
Yeah, definitely. And as we dive into that, we'll be picking apart, getting to know more about the plant itself.
Sure.
And what exactly about it is beneficial for us, and which cannabinoids or terpenes and whatnot in that the plants are kind of low in, maybe to maybe concentrate those that are better, that would provide more benefits or help fight other diseases or anything like that.
Yeah, that's dope. And do you notice that there's more acceptance in your generation than previous generations? Do you feel like there's a lot more of a change in understanding not just bud, but even psychedelics and other
definitely
things?
I mean, I think ever since like the Reagan era really like as you said before, reefer madness really screwed for cannabis for a long time.
Yeah.
And now that we're like getting a bunch of generations away from that, we're kind of seeing like a bigger acceptance, especially now that states are legalized and stuff like that. Like I see a big acceptance in my age group, and I see a big acceptance in the people that are a little younger than me, older than me. Basically, like when Cassie first started smoking, I was like, when you start smoking, you were gonna realize almost everybody's like so many people smoke,
it was
and you
so
have no
true,
idea.
And I had no idea.
So you really felt the whole time you were talking and being around friends, and truly had no clue that they were stoners, that they kept it that closet, like it was really that type of situation, or no?
Yeah, they aren't very open with their cannabis use. It's just. It, like, don't know, don't tell, don't talk about it.
Sure.
Still very taboo. So it's gotten better.
And then once they realize you're part of the clique, then people started opening and be like, "Yeah, I smoke some weed too."
It's so hush hush. Like,
how's your stuff? How's my stuff? Yeah.
Oh my God, really?
Exactly.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. That is so great. And how does it feel going from various states and seeing different cannabis and how it's legally prescribed or given, or have you checked out a bunch of dispensaries in various states and from Vegas to Denver to Montana to here in California, it's every state is different, and you can tell just by walking in the dispensary. If you had to do a little describing, like what's the difference between Cali and Montana?
All right, so Cali, Cali, you kind of just like walked into the like they checked your ID, you walk into the store, they check your ID again, kind of, and you can walk around, and it's like there's so much there's like the bud here and the weed is fantastic, and there's so many different varieties and edibles and concentrates and all that, and I don't know if it was just the dispensary we went to, I went to in the Montana, but it wasn't like that at all. It looked kind of more. It was they kind of ran it more like a smoke shop.
Okay, wow.
And there was no product directly for like display.
And you're telling me they actually had like pipes and this and like all kinds of weird things, which you don't really see
and stuff like that
in California dispensaries. You don't see.
It's
just bud.
Just bud. Maybe they have some like custom brand pieces, but that's really it.
And then what about Colorado?
Colorado is like walking into Fort Knox in a dispensary.
Sure.
You walk in, you have to get like either buzzed in or walk right in, and they check your ID, and then you have to wait for someone to come out and get you, and then they check your ID again, and then you pick out what you want. I mean, the setup like inside is probably usually the same. Like they have like same kinds of products and all that California does. Sure. And probably not the same quality, but it was like California is really like top that, and and then you go to pay, and then they check your ID again, and then it's just
and then what about Nevada?
And then Nevada, I went to Planet 13,
which is one of the biggest in the world.
That was biggest in the world. Like I wanted to go. I heard it was biggest in the world. I'm like, I gotta go.
And explain that experience of like pulling up and seeing it, and what did you like? What was your impression?
Yeah, I pulled up and seen it. I was like. I walked in and I was like, wait, where's the dispensary? Because like they had a cafe, they were like setting up for a cafe that I think you can smoke at. Yeah. And then the dispensary, and like they have
restaurants and this. It's like going into a mall.
Like restaurants.
Right?
It's almost like walking into like a whole mall. And I'm really excited to go back once because I've heard like the cafe's open and everything. But they had some amazing products there, and it was.
And of all the states, though, let's be honest, which is the favorite?
Out of all the states, probably California. They got
reigning champion. The Mecca.
But I had but close second is probably, which people find interesting, is Montana, because they had.
See, that's like wow. I'm really wow.
It was.
What strain what did you get from there? Just out of curiosity.
I had so my favorite strain of all time is Blue Dream.
Oh, okay.
And I went to a buddy's dispensary, and he had a Blue Dream mixed with a white, and it was called White Nightmare.
Wow.
It was fantastic.
Really?
Yeah, it's like my new favorite now.
And what about reasonability of pricing? I didn't even actually get into that. Out of all the states, which was the cheapest and which was the most expensive?
I would say that they're relatively all around the same.
Really?
Like
Okay.
it's like the taxes vary, like
Sure.
depending on like which state you're in and how the state handles their taxes. But
Sure.
relatively, like it's all like relative. I think relatively it's all the same.
Sure. Are you looking forward to it changing in the East Coast a lot more?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to changing in the East Coast. Like it's gonna be interesting because they're so kind of set in their ways out there and everything, and it's interesting to see that they're opening up to new things. And now that New York went legal, I think it's just a matter of time before all the like all the other states on the East Coast.
And if you
follow.
had to guess, Pete, just throwing it out to the wind, how many years do you think before full legalization in America?
I say like 10 years.
You think it's going to be that long?
I think it's going to be that long because, like, I honestly, I don't know if I see the current administration doing it, and then I have no idea who's.
But you don't think it might be important in getting votes because there was
it's going to be. I mean, we've seen that in the past because we've seen that in the past. It's very important. Like candidates have made it very important to address cannabis in running and stuff like that, but it seems like once they get there, it's like they kind of fall short every time. It's like, okay. No, okay, we'll just keep letting you do what you want to do.
But that's what I mean. Like, do you
it's
think
just kind of status
be
quo
a pressure
right now.
saying you're liars, it doesn't do it unless you're going to fucking do it now?
No, yeah, because that's
like,
going to come when there's only like 1 or 2 states left to be fully legalized.
And now there's only 8, right, left or something like that?
I think
there isn't that many, is there? As far as
there's not a lot that are left that are fully legal. There's a lot that have medical programs that don't have recreational programs, and that's like
tons,
the biggest.
Tons.
The recreational program, I feel, is like one of like the biggest pushes to make it like fully
legal. I say
fully acceptable in that state.
That's fucking dope. Beast, any commentary, things you want to bring into the mixie?
Well, I mean, I hit this MJ Arsenal like 10 minutes ago, and I'm like so high.
Oh yeah, I could tell.
Yeah.
I love it. So, any shout outs, man, to friends or family out there?
Yeah, shout out to everybody who's made my life possible, and all the companies I've been involved in over the years, and to you guys, taking me under your wing almost, and just showing me what can be done.
Cassie, shout outs. Anybody out there?
Shout out to my sister who loves Haze Radio and TV station, and just all the people out on the West Coast, on the East Coast, that are listening to us.
Hell yeah! And tune in. There's gonna be a lot more information behind the leaf, right, Beast? You know it.
Yeah.
You know it.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
My high sidekick right there. He's like, whatever he says, man. Let's hit it again. I fucking love it. If anybody wants to hit you up on the IG, you want to give that out to anybody?
Oh yeah, definitely. Actually, did we create the?
Yeah, absolutely. At Behind the Leaf Pod.
At Behind the Leaf Pod. All right, there you go.
And if it's outside of the podcast though, and wanted to hit you up, do you want to give the personal IG or no?
Yeah, you can hit me up on it's just Alec Sakosha, and that's
spell it to my stoners.
Yeah, because like
you're gonna fuck people up.
That's an interesting.
Like, I'm gonna remember the Behind the Leaf one. That other one's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. They're like, what?
Who is that?
Like,
spell
what's
it
that
out.
Mad Lib? No, it's so that's ALEC SACCOCCIA.
Hell yes. And then Facebook or anything else or no?
Yeah, Facebook exactly the same.
Same thing.
And yeah, that's it.
We'll look forward to some very cool guests coming up. Shout out to a lot of great guys in the cannabis industry and some very famous celebrity actors and actresses that want to tell you behind the leaf that they smoke the wacky tobacco. I love it, man. Thank you so much for having us come on the show with you today. Right, Ty?
Yeah, thank you.
Ty,
It was a pleasure.
any shout outs yourself?
No, I mean, shout out to you guys because this was dope.
This was fun.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
Good
much,
time.
and we look forward to more episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I can't wait. I can't wait to
Absolutely.
dive fully into this.
Hell yeah. Peace.
Peace.
Peace out.
See ya.
You're listening to Haze Radio Network, Cannabis Lifestyle Radio.